long time no see. There's reason behind that. So the last episode I did, I talked about a friend of mine that committed suicide in 2016, and you guys didn't really see much from me after that, and that's because that was in May. I had, excuse me, a niece's birthday that happened. School let out, which means my nieces are at my house a lot more. It's very chaotic. It's hard for me to do videos when they're over because they all want to, be in the video. Actually, one of them is over here now, the youngest one, but she's laying on my bed. So if you hear little noises in the background, just know that that's her. So, anyway, sorry, the box is getting my nerves. So, then, June happened, and my birthday happened, and blah, blah, blah. And then stuff happened in July because we were trying to get any kind of like little vacations with the girls, stuff like that. And then school started in August, so it was kind of hectic. They were also with me the entire month of July, which means there would have been no way whatsoever I could have done any kind of videos then because they were at my house every single day. So there's that. And also, you have noticed that the name of my channel has changed from Dinner on a Monster to The B-Side of Life. The reason behind that is I haven't found a lot of good movies lately that have been worth reviewing. But other than that, I noticed that what gets more hits is more of my everyday stuff, my stories and stuff about my life, than the actual movie reviews. So I'm still going to have the movie reviews, and they're still going to be called Dinner on a Monster, but I had promised other content, and that's what's going to happen, and this is the best way to do it, because if I still tag Dinner on a Monster on that content, then everyone's going to think it's movie reviews when it's not. So I figured the B-Side of Life. Now, real quick, the reason I chose B-Side of Life is because, okay, so way back in the archaic days, they had these things called cassettes, and they also had these things called records. You guys call them vinyl now, but when I was growing up, they were records. And there was an A-side and a B-side. And the B tracks were generally the not as popular songs. They were just kind of the extra songs. Even though I ended up liking a lot of the B tracks. So that's sort of what it is because I'm not an influencer. I'm not the most popular person on YouTube. Sorry, thirsty. Stuff like that. So it's called the B-Side of Life because I'm kind of like the B-side. It's like being at the B table. You're known, but you're not super popular. But I do have 73 followers or subscribers. Subscribers now, so that's pretty cool. I would like more subscribers, so I'm hoping now that I'm opening up the content to more stuff that I will be able to. And I'm going to talk about TV shows I like, my opinions. I know it's not really necessarily going to be a review of sorts, but just my opinions on certain things that happen, either in my life or shows that I've watched or movies that I've watched. So there still are going to be reviews. They're just not going to be strictly horror movie reviews. So that'll be good. So what I did on my summer vacation, I'll try to make this fast. I worked a lot, and then we went to Beach Mountain. I think it's North Carolina. I always want to say North Carolina. And we went to the Land of Oz, and the Land of Oz is a theme park that opened a long time ago. I don't remember exactly when, and it was based on The Wizard of Oz. And a few years ago on Facebook, an article popped up about it, and my sister was really excited, and we couldn't go. Well, this year, me, my sister, and my friend Audra, my bestie, we went up there, and it's a lot smaller than I thought. I mean, there were some really cool things, don't get me wrong, but I think, unfortunately, it's almost one of those, okay, I did it, I don't have to do it again, and it's nothing against that. There are people that will want to do it again. I'm not the biggest Wizard of Oz fan. My sister is, so there's that. Let's see, I went to a Tenacious D concert, which was amazing, even though I hadn't actually heard the music from Apocalypto, because I listen to my iPod most of the time. Sometimes I listen to the radio, so I'm not really up to date with music, like when new albums come out, unless I happen to randomly catch it on, like, I I don't know. I don't watch every single thing on Jablinski Games, which is Jack Black's YouTube. I recommend it. It's awesome, especially if you like Nacho Libre, because there's 2 episodes that I've seen that he actually makes Nacho Libre references, and super awesome. I was liked him. But anyway, so if he announced that he was doing that, I'm not sure, because again, I mean, his YouTube's pretty new too. And I'm sure he has like 100 million subscribers compared to my 73, but that's okay. So anyway, yeah, so I am doing this for the likes and the subscribers and stuff like that. So I am updating my content because I am trying to get out there. I think it would be cool to one day be invited to VidCon. How awesome would that be? But I've got a long way to go, and I don't even know how you get invited there. You know, I wouldn't mind being able to one day get the little cool YouTube plaque, stuff like that. So enough about that. So anyway, so we went to the Land of Oz because, like I said, my sister was really into it. And the only real complaint I have, okay, first of all, I am very scared of heights, like terrified of heights. Like I can ride roller coasters and stuff like that. That's not a problem. But we were driving up a mountain, and so I live in Georgia, for those that don't know. So we have flatlands, but we have a lot of mountains as you get towards the north. So, you know, when you get into South Carolina, North Carolina, or Tennessee, you know, you got a lot of mountains. So this theme park is on a mountain, but it's on, like, the parking lot is on one part of the mountain, and then the theme park is at the top of the mountain. Okay, so you gotta keep in mind. So I have Meniere's, which is an inner ear issue. I don't really know if I was born with it or if it was an accident, but in my left ear, you have these 3 little bones. I forget what they're all called, but one is either deformed or broken, whatever. So I get vertigo, I get seasick or motion sick very easily. I think I keep Dramamine in business just to survive. But heights also greatly affect it. Where most people, when they're in an airplane, they feel the pressure and their ear pops, it feels like somebody stabbed the inside of my ear with an ice pick. So we're driving up this mountain and my ear kept popping, and again, there's also that fear, and there were areas where you're going around the mountain and there's just trees and no guardrail. So we go up the mountain and we get on a ski lift, which oddly enough, I felt safer on the ski lift than I did driving around the mountain. And I think it's because it was more like a ride. But I could never do skydiving or, you know, anything like that because it just freaks me out. But anyway, so we do that, and it's about an hour long. So we drove 4.5 hours for an hour-long tour, but we did stay at a hotel. I'll get to that in a minute. So Dorothy guides you through it, and you get to interact. It's participation. So I had to play Glinda, which was actually funny because sort of the joke is I dressed like Glinda from Wicked. My sister kind of did like a rendition of Dorothy in this like rockabilly gingham dress that she had, and my friend Audra did the Scarecrow in a way. And so I got to be Glinda, and I was so nervous. I love being in front of people. Like, it's not a big deal to me as long as I can do it. And I panicked, and I screwed up some of the lines because I was trying so hard to do it right. I was trying to do it, you know, exactly how it's supposed to be done, which you really shouldn't do at the end of the day. And I had like 5 minutes to even learn the lines. Again, I haven't memorized the movie. That's more my sister's deal. But anyway, so we did that, and you go through, and the coolest part to me, okay, and you see that like the witch's pot thing is in a gazebo and you know, all this kind of stuff. And you go through the poppy field, but you don't fall asleep. But there is a part at the very beginning where you go through Dorothy's house. And I gotta tell you guys, that was my favorite part because they had it set up exactly how it was in the movie. Okay? So then you go down into the storm cellar, which is like a basement area. And it's all black lit, and there's, the walls are painted black, but there's like twisties and stuff on it, and then the wind, they have a very strong fan going, so it feels like it, you know, it's the tornado. But then when you get out, it's a replica of the same house that, you know, it's all attached, but like stuff is turned over. The floor is doing this, which is, in my opinion, really cool. And and you go through now, to me, it was a little short. I wish the rides were still in existence, but I couldn't even tell you where those rides were. The only disappointing thing of the actual park was in the pictures, there looks like there's so much more, and it looks so much bigger. And it's not. You literally go through this whole entire park in 1 hour because you're following a tour. There's no, like, you can go off on your own or anything like that. You have to stay with the tour group, and that kind of sucks. I mean, they even have, like, workers behind to make sure that everybody just keeps moving. So that kind of was a letdown. And then the other thing is the hotel that I won't say the name of the hotel because I'm going to be nice, but the day, because we stayed one night and we were going to leave and go to the park that morning for the 10 something and then just go straight home because, whatever, it wasn't a big deal. So my mom calls and she's like, hey, Hulu won't turn on. This is the next morning when we were leaving. Yeah. And I'm like, what do you mean Hulu won't turn on? Now, I had just gotten paid not too long before that, and she's like, there's something wrong with it. So I look in my bank account, right? And the hotel that we stayed at actually had 3 charges of $89.07 on hold. 3 of them. Okay? So that sort of made me mad. And so I called the hotel immediately, and I don't know what her name was, I don't remember, but I talked to this young lady, and I was like, hey, according to my bank account, you are pending 3 charges for 1 night on this room of $89.07. And she goes, well, on my computer it only shows 2. Well, at that point, unfortunately, I didn't have time to drive the 20 minutes back because we were pressed for time as it was. Because I think we'd stopped so I could put air on my tire because my tire was giving me grief, right? So she goes, well, don't worry, we'll fix it. Okay, that's fine. But she was only going to fix that 1 extra charge instead of the 2 extra charges. So at that point, I really couldn't worry about it. I had to pull from my savings to cover some stuff so I wouldn't overdraft. So I did that. We ate. I forget where we ate that day. I really honestly don't remember. I think we may have just gotten fast food and we came home. Well, I came home on the 26th, I think, and on the 27th, I saw that 1 charge came back, but I still had that other extra charge. So I called my bank, and they said, well, you have to wait 14 days, and you need to get in touch with them first and let them know, right? Okay, so that's fine. So I called the hotel, the main hotel thing, and I call them, and I let them know what happened, and they're like, oh, well, we need you to, if you could, just email us a copy of the bank statement. So I did. Okay, so I call back about 4 or 5 days later, and the lady tells me that they don't have an email of the bank statement and to send it again. And I'm like, okay, you guys are running out of time. In my opinion, at the end of the day, for the runaround that they gave me, I really should have been, to me, fully reimbursed. But I'm not that type of person that's going to ask like that, but I just felt that, you know what, you should have just given me the room for free if you're going to be like this. Well, I even left a review on Booking.com, and Booking.com is very good at taking care of things, by the way. So anyway, so I sent it again. I emailed it as soon as I got home. I sent it to him again, and then I called 3 days later, I believe, and again, it's getting right at that 14-day mark. And I was about to say, screw it. I think it may have gotten to the 14-day mark by then. And I was getting one last chance. I called. The lady's like, oh yeah, I don't usually accept bank statements that are copied and pasted. And I was like, okay. Well, I didn't exactly copy and paste it. I sort of forwarded the email. So everything that was in the email had, like, my bank's name, my bank's phone number, the person I talked to, everything. And so then they called, or no, I'm saying they didn't call. My bad. And so then she was like, oh, well, we don't reimburse via debit or, put it back in your bank account, even though that was how I paid for it. I paid for it through my bank account or through my debit card. She was like, you'll get a check in 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm thinking, lady, I have bills that I have to pay. I have cleaned out my savings to cover the bills that these this extra charge has done. Right, which I cleaned out, my savings account didn't have a whole lot in it, but I'd been saving up for the trip. So anyway, so a couple of 3 weeks ago, now keep in mind, all of this very early July, so about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I look at my bank account, and there's an extra $89.07 in green. But I thought that they didn't do it via debit. Or, you know, I was waiting for a check. So I was like, okay, that's weird. But I just kind of brushed it off. Well, the other day, a check appeared. So what we've gathered is that they actually either did completely reimburse the room, or Booking.com reimbursed part of it, and then I got the check from them. So basically, we ended up with a free hotel room, which I kind of felt like we deserved after all the nonsense. But anyway, so yeah, wow, 15 minutes in. I know this is a really boring story, and I'm so sorry. I meant to just talk about the updates, but please like and subscribe. I really do want to become something. I you know what? I want to be an actress, but I don't know how to get started on that. So this is the next best thing, right? And even if I do become an actress, I kind of want to keep my YouTube channel because I enjoy it. But I'm gonna do another one right after this for Good Omens while I have a chance, because I want to tell you guys about that. So yeah. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. You have a great day.